Howdy, Jason Journeyman here. Now, my mom likes to say when the going gets tough, the tough get growing. And I think a lot of you agree. I've had a lot of friends ask me questions about plants. I went to the nursery to pick up my order from them and they were out of a bunch of plants. I had to get replacements. I've seen a lot of social media posts about people growing gardens because we're stuck at home. We have extra time to do so. And maybe growing some vegetables means we don't have to go to the store as often too. So I thought I would talk a little bit about growing vegetables. I don't know a huge amount about vegetables, but I do know a couple things specifically about what is called permaculture, which is working with our natural environment to grow these plants. And so what I want to talk about are tomatoes that really love nitrogen. It makes the tomatoes grow extra juicy and big when they have nitrogen. And then the other side of that, peas, which are nitrogen fixers. They take nitrogen out of the air and put it into the soil. So a concept of permaculture is that if you rotate those two plants, peas in the winter, tomatoes in the summer, they balance each other out, they help each other out, and then you don't need fertilizer. So join me in my garden as we plant some new tomato plants for summer. I am going into selfie mode so that I can show you something in my garden. Say hello to my sugar snap peas. They've been growing up these upside down tomato baskets all winter. They put in a lot of work, but there's still a couple little peas left. Let me grab this one right here. Very delicious. Been eating them all summer. I'm gonna take these out of the garden now, but they're actually gonna continue to help the tomatoes that replace them all summer. And I'll show you how and why. So the first thing we're gonna do is cut these pea plants to the ground. Just like that. The plants have been taking nitrogen from the air and putting it in the soil just for its process of photosynthesis. But also, these roots, as they decompose in the ground, are also going to create nitrogen as well. So we'll just make sure to plant the tomatoes around the roots, and as the roots die off all summer, they'll be feeding the plants vitamins the whole time. All these clippings are going to go into the compost so they can decompose and turn into nice fertilizer. We've got our soil left here. Got our tomato basket back the right way. And stick it down in the ground right here. Ready for our new tomato baby. Like this one right here. Now, this is the easiest part of the whole process. We've got our tomato plant here. We're gonna dig a hole. Check out my other video that I made about just general concepts on how to plant plants, the best ways to make sure they survive in the ground in their new home. See, in the hole are some of these roots right here that we're gonna leave in there and let them decompose and create vitamins for the tomato plant. We're gonna scooch the baby out of here. Very gently pull it out. Gonna massage the roots a little bit. Loosen it up. And then tomato baby goes right in here. Now, one thing I recently learned is that you want plant to go a little bit below your soil level. So, and we're gonna pluck up some of these little tendrils here at the bottom. All of the little hairs on a tomato plant are all able to become roots as long as they are submerged underneath the soil. So the lower this is, the more space you have for more support, more roots, more life, more growth eventually going up. Push it down just a little bit in case there are air pockets in there. Creating a nice little bowl shape here in the middle so that when water comes in, it can soak down straight to the roots. It's especially good for it when you just put it in the ground. Eventually those roots are gonna spread out and I won't need that as much, but to get started, it really helps it out. Now, pruning your tomato plant the proper way is gonna help it for sure, but the thing that's gonna help it the most were those peas that I grew all last winter. This is nature's natural way of replenishing itself, of providing fertilizer for the next generation of plants. Farmers for centuries used to do crop rotation, plant one plant and then another one the next year, and they would help balance out the soil, keep it nice and rich and healthy for that next plant to grow. So I hope you had fun learning about permaculture and crop rotation and peas and tomatoes. And I hope that you have a nice, delicious garden this summer that you can make. And in the meantime, I've got some peas here. And I've got my Bubba I'm gonna share with Rocco. Rocco, you want a pea? Yes, he likes the peas. He really does. Don't you, Rocco? Rocco, one more. One for me. And one for you. See you next time.